The broadcast is live.
Ooh. Oh, you're dancing too. I couldn't see you.
Always. Hey. Oh my goodness. Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome back to Happy Hour. I'm your host, Hayden Humphrey. I am very excited about this episode because I have a very special guest with me this evening, a very good friend, fellow entrepreneur, and all around badass, Miss Molly Seifert. Molly, how the heck are you?
I'm so good. So good. Actually, today's been like a really fantastic day. Just like woke up with great energy, got some work done, and then decided to take the dogs to Forest Preserve to just like change it up a little bit. And I made the like mistake, but also it was hilarious. So my one dog loves water. Like she sees water and she's like, zoom, I'm in. But it was like a lake, but it wasn't like an easy entrance lake. It was like swamp before it was lake.
Mm-hmm.
But I let them off the leashes anyways, and they just start running, and then they're just like sunk into the mud.
No.
And I instantly was like, this was a terrible idea. But then they're just like prancing through the mud, just like loving life. And I was like, well, you guys are having a good time and it's bath time later.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, they are like so tired now. And like dog mom that has tired dogs is like the best. It's like kids. You just want to tire them out. That's all you want to do.
I have gone back and forth about whether or not I want to get a dog. And I keep coming back to this, like, well, I don't think now's the right time, whatever it is. But I have to say that your Instagram stories make it very difficult to stick to that. Because every time I'm like, God, these dogs are so damn cute. I was like, I need some of these dogs in my life. So
yeah, they're pretty wonderful. But I always tell people that are like, I really want to get a dog. I'm like, you better think long and hard about it because it's like so much work. I love them. I wouldn't change it for the world, but like, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to say it's like having children because the moms out there and dads out there are going to be like, no, it's not. But it's a lot of work. Like it's a lot of responsibility. You have to walk them a lot if you're a good dog parent. And yeah, it's just a lot, but I love them. They're wonderful and they're so cute.
Pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Molly, for those of the folks that are listening and watching that don't know you, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're up to.
Yeah, totally. So hello, friends that don't know me. My name's Molly, and I'm an intuitive eating and body image coach. Starting really, actually, like this quarantine has really made me feel more of a pull to talking more about like self-love and self-acceptance, because I've noticed in every single client that I've had, like that's the root of all of this. Like that's the root of anyone's eating issues. That's the root of anybody's like desire to change their body. It's because we've been told somewhere along the way that we're somehow wrong or broken or not good enough. And so really the root of all of it is like self-love and acceptance. And that's what we need to teach and learn. And I know you're on this journey too. Like it's like an unending journey, but like not in like a way that like, oh, I'm never going to get there. But like it's our life's work to like allow our full selves to be like shown to the world. And so that's what I'm really passionate about doing, is helping people see that they're already whole just the way they are. And that they not only can they love themselves, but like they are love. Like they are like the embodiment of love. And I truly think that like, so someone asked me this the other day. I've got a Corin Bay and we had a phone date the other day.
Oh, I have not heard of that before. That's amazing. Cool. I was like, wait, a Corin? Oh, Corin Bay. Okay, cool. Yes.
Don't worry, everybody.
Awesome.
But anyways, he asked me this question and it was a great question. And he was like, when you think about your life, like when was like a great year? Like you're just like, that was a killer year. I was like so happy. And I was like, honestly, like right now and last year, I have like stepped into like who I am, and no, it hasn't been the easiest year, and no, it hasn't been the prettiest, but like I am myself now. And he was like, he like interviews people often. And that's often an interview question that he gives. He's like, I've never had anybody tell me that like right now is the happiest time they've ever had. And I'm like, that's really sad. And that is part of my mission. Like, I want people to always be like, yeah, like right now, why wouldn't right now be the time that I'm the happiest? You know, like we need more of that. And not that I'm perfect at it by any means. And like I said, not like last year was like the easiest, most fun year. It was just the year that I finally started to like really step into my wholeness, like seeing the dark sides, seeing the bright sides, and like noticing that like they can coexist, and like that is balance. It's like that's what like life is about, like embracing both sides of those. So like I'm just really passionate about showing that to more people, because I think when more people see that they're already whole, we just elevate everybody together.
Totally. And it's a perfect segue to the first question that I always love to ask on this show. And for those of you watching, please throw your answers down in the comment box. But Molly, what is making you happy right now?
Well, currently it was happy hour, so I put kombucha in a wine glass, but that's not my answer.
When?
My answer is my dogs. Like, honestly, I think about like what it might be like. Sorry, this is not helping you in your search to not get a dog right now.
I'm just like, stop listening.
Mute. But I think about like what it would be like to like live alone and be in quarantine. And I'm like, I am just like so grateful that like I could totally go for walks by myself, and I know I would. Like, I would have to. But like, I have to go outside 3 times a day and walk my dogs, you know? It gets me outside. I can wave hi to my neighbors. I love walking, and I get to like talk to them in goofy, weird voices and dance with them. So they are making me really happy. I just sounded like a totally crazy dog lady.
I love it.
True, everyone. It's so true.
I do the same thing with my roommate, Christian.
Talking weird voices and dance together.
I talk to him in weird voices, and
it's so true.
Take him on walks sometimes.
Well, have you ever seen Suits? TV show Suits.
Oh, Suits. Oh yeah, I've seen Suits.
That's like the one lawyer does mud baths. He goes mudding all the time.
Oh yeah, I need to try that. Have you ever been mudding?
I have not.
Okay. Well, I've got some pitchers of water and this patch of dirt out in the backyard, so maybe I'll go try that later.
To drone that shit.
Yeah, to document. I think what's making me happy is I actually did a quasi dopamine fast / digital detox yesterday. And so I woke up, and from like 7:30 to 5-ish, I didn't really do anything. Like, I just kind of like sat on the couch or sat outside on the back porch, and I had a pad, and so I just wrote whatever like came into my brain. But it was really cool. And I really wasn't bored the whole day. Like, if anything, I actually felt like I had a better day because I wasn't constantly distracted. And like the thing that I realized that I really appreciated was it made me look forward to everything that I was doing. So like the whole morning I was like looking forward to in a really pleasant way. I was like, oh, I get to eat lunch in like a couple hours. I was like, that's cool. And I just like, that was enough. Like that was enough for me to like, go through that. So cool experience. Really cool.
Yeah,
experience.
I love that. That's so interesting that you bring that up, because this morning I was on Instagram a lot, like posting and like doing what I do. But what I find myself doing so often, and I know a lot of other people relate to this, and maybe you relate to this too, is I find myself rotating through Instagram, Facebook, email. And what I realized I was doing this morning, like it finally clicked for me. So I don't know if you're into human design at all, but I'm a manifesting generator. So manifesting generators do best responding to things. So responding either to intuition or from like people reaching out and you responding to them. So I realized that what I'm looking for is something that I can respond to, either a message or an email or like someone reaching out. I'm just looking for opportunities to respond in that. And as a manifesting generator, like you can't force those things. Like you just have to like allow them to come to you. But when I'm going through that vicious cycle of Instagram, Facebook, email, like repetitive, like I like sometimes laugh at myself. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? You literally have done this like 10 times now. but I'm just forcing it. I'm like trying so hard to like find something to respond to when I really need to sit back and kind of do what you did and just like allow things to come to me and just trust that they're the things that are supposed to come to me will. It was just such an interesting thing to notice this morning. I was like, that's why I'm doing that, because I'm looking for something to respond to. There's
so many things that I've been doing or have had been doing up until this whole quarantine thing started. And now I'm like, because I'm more introverted anyways. And now my more introverted side is coming out. And I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I literally want to talk to no people. Like people will reach out to me and they're like, hey, do you have time today? And I'm like, I do. I don't really want to talk to anyone. Because I'm finding all these things that I'm like, I am feeling called to do. And a lot of it has to do with like creation and deep work and just being very focused and like building things.
Yeah.
And so it's been fun to like play with both sides of that. The very close follow-up question to my first question is, what are you most grateful for today?
Today, so one part of my business that I more recently started is to start to like educate people about essential oils, because it's something that I've been really passionate about for a while. And I was like, you know what, like this can be part of my business. So this week is like an exciting week in like my essential oil business week. And I'm really grateful for that. For the longest time, like I've always been like a skeptic of like direct sales companies and like blah, 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 and all this stuff. And I've always had so much judgment around it. But it is such a really cool way to like share knowledge and share like tools that actually are helpful. And so, you know what, that's the first thing that came to my mind. And like part of me was like, no, don't say that. That's dumb. So I'm going to say it. Inner dialogue. I'm going to say I'm grateful for that aspect of my business today.
I love it. Are you selling essential oils? Like as in if people look you up afterwards, can they find essential oils?
Totally.
Okay, cool. Everyone watching, go buy essential oils from Molly.
I do love them. It is fun. Yes. They honestly have like changed my life. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think what I'm most grateful for today is sweets. That's one of them.
Cool. Yeah.
Cookies.
Great.
Specifically.
What kind of cookies?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Okay. Classic.
Thanks. And then second is I have been much more conscious of when I'm trying to push through something. Like when I have something on my to-do list and it feels like an uphill battle, I'm like, I get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I need to step away from this. It doesn't make any sense for me to like try and push through this, because there is a way that I can go about it that's going to be joyful and easy and like almost feel like I feel called to sit down and write this thing out versus me sitting down and being like, what am I supposed to write about today? And so I feel grateful for like being more aware of when that's happening and like being able to step back from that.
Yeah. Have you ever taken the Gallup Strengths Finder?
I need to retake it.
Yeah. So I just did like a training and I've never taken it, but like I was watching a webinar where he was like talking about it, and he was talking about like, like the top ones are important and you need to focus on those things. But it's also really helpful, I guess, to know like your bottom ones so that you just like stop focusing on those. Like those are your weaknesses, right? And so those are often the things that like we try to force, that we try to do more and we try to get better at, when really you should just like, if those things keep coming up, like just if you can try to drop those and just focus on the top ones. But knowing what those things are at the bottom can just help you be more aware of like, oh, no wonder I'm like going in this cycle, because this is not where my strengths are. And I need to like refocus my strengths back up here. So I really want to take that just so like, because I feel like that's where a lot of blocks come up in business, right? Like we see the areas that we're not good at and we just like try to like just pound them, you know, we're like, oh, I'm going to be good at this. And that's just like not helpful.
Not forcing it. Do you know your top 5 strengths?
No, I've never taken it before.
Oh, you should totally take it. It's really like eye-opening.
It's an investment. It is not a cheap test, but I can see the value in it. So I think I'm going to do it. I'll just put it on the business credit card. It's just a personal development thing.
It's all good.
Write-off right there.
We need to, exactly. So the next part of the show is the random question of the day. One of my favorite parts of this show.
Generate random questions.
Generates random questions. So Molly, are you ready for your random question? Okay, here we go. I am generating your random question now. Molly, what part of history do you find most interesting?
Oh, interesting. When I first read this, I read it as what part of your history do you find most interesting, like my
You
own.
can answer both.
But a fun fact, I actually hate history as a subject. So can my answer be none of it?
I don't believe in history, so
It's not real. It's all
not
hoax.
real.
No, let me think of a real answer.
It could also be none.
History. Nothing's coming because I just don't care. But I did you recommend the book Sapiens to me?
I did. That's most likely yes, because I talk about that book literally every day. So
it's a very dense book. I did not get very far with it, but I think you told me the concept of it. And I think the concept is really interesting how I'm such like a big picture person. Like, don't give me the details.
Give me the Spark Notes.
I don't care. But I love it's so interesting to me, like the concept that like our species, like everything around us has developed so much faster than a species ever does. So we still have our like primal instincts of survival, but now it's attached to different things. And that creates so much like friction in our lives. And it prevents us from like self-actualizing because like that wasn't a thing that cavemen had to do.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have that ability, but because we still have that like instinctual drive to just survive on a basic level, sometimes that can hold us back because we don't realize that like, oh, we've got that, like we can level up. So
totally.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it's so cool because I mean, I think about it. There's so much to say about this whole process, about everything that you just said. But it's like this whole idea that prehistoric humans, they were already self-actualized. Like there was no, you know what I mean? Like they were already self-actualized. Like they were just 100% present in every moment.
So
they
true.
did whatever felt good. They expressed all their emotions fluidly and seamlessly. And it's just so interesting to think about like how, you know, we can take advantage of that or step back into that.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Interesting. Yeah, that's so true.
My question, what's something that you think you may have been the only person in the world to ever do?
Ooh.
Oh my God. What is this?
It's a big question. It's hard.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I'm thinking of like random things. Like I'm the only one that like farted 3 times while cooking spaghetti on the 17th of April.
I mean, I did that this year. That was a couple of days ago. I
Why did we do the same thing?
I know, it's weird. We're weirdly synchronized. Man, I don't know. Someone might have done this, but what comes to mind is like when I was in high school, I took a bunch of AP classes, and you had to take the AP test to get credit for the class, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so technically my first name is actually Zachary and my middle name is Hayden, but I didn't really understand. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's funny. It's like most people, I know most people don't know. It's very funny, right? So when I was taking these tests, I signed some of them as Zachary Hayden and some of them as Hayden Humphrey. And so they were technically like 2 different people. So I had to like submit formal documentation to like get credit for like all of the tests.
Oh, that's a great answer to this question.
That's what came up.
That's a pretty unique situation
for me.
Zachary.
Do you have a situation other than the spaghetti farting?
Oh man, I just love fart jokes. I feel like I bring up farts all the time.
Perfect show for it.
Something that I've done that no one else has done. That's really difficult. I don't know.
Nothing?
No, I got nothing.
Been named Molly Seifert and lived in Chicago.
Sure.
And
Oregon.
Are on this show right now.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
No one else called my mom today at 4:37 like I did, okay?
I mean, I did. I called her.
You didn't call my mom at the same time, though.
You don't know that?
You better not have called my mom.
She put me to voicemail, just so you know.
Better have.
So, like, nope. The next game we're gonna play a couple rounds of this is called "Will You Push the Button?" Pretty straightforward. Basically, you're going to be presented with a fictional situation in which you have two choices, or it's rather something that you get, and then there's a caveat, and you can either push the button to accept it, or you will not choose to not push the button.
Is there actually a button for me to push?
Yes.
Or not? Just say
Here
it.
we go. I'm going to show you.
Buttons.
Okay. So, Molly, you okay, this is a very straightforward one. You achieve world domination. Everyone loves you, but you also get herpes at the same time.
Yeah,
Do you? Yeah. Yeah. Easy. Okay.
Yeah.
You push the
That's
button.
just a stigma, y'all.
You're with the majority of people. Nice work.
I'm surprised that's so 50-50. That just shows the stigma of herpes because
people apparently do not like herpes.
Yeah.
Apparently. Let's see. Molly, you have the perfect woman as your girlfriend or wife.
Cool.
But she will always be better than you at everything.
Sure. Yeah. I want the perfect woman.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Push it. All right. Pushing the button. Oh, 70% of people push this is
what happens.
Vast majority.
People date me. I am the perfect girlfriend. That's better than them at everything.
So it's just fair. It would only be fair.
Warren Bay is watching this, and
you would be
get me out of here.
Same instance. Okay. You will live forever in youth and happiness, but Slender Man will haunt you forever.
Slender, what's that?
Do you know Slender Man?
No.
He's like this fictitious guy who's just very thin and creepy looking.
Is he harmful?
Only to your psyche.
Oh, that's hard because I don't like creepy things. So, no, I will not.
You're not going to press the button.
No, I'm not.
You're not. Okay. Not pressing the button. Let's see. No. Oh, all right. Again, 56%. You are in the majority. Nice
I also
work.
don't want to live forever.
That would actually suck.
Yeah, I don't want to live forever. That's the point of this, at least this phase of our lives. I don't know if there's another life, but that's the point of this life is to live it, not live forever. No thanks.
Did you ever see, there was this movie and it was this family, this Amish family that lived forever.
No. Was this Slender Man there? You're not.
It's from all the same. It's from all the same.
Okay. Next question.
Okay. Molly, you become extremely talented in team sports, but team members of the same sex want to fuck you.
Wow, that's very specific.
Yes.
I get uncomfortable when the opposite sex is obsessed with fucking me. So yeah. I don't think I want the same sex wanting to fuck. So no, I don't care about sports that much.
Okay, you're in the minority.
Apparently
58% of people, the majority of people, would take that situation.
I also have good boundaries. So if they all want to fuck me, I'll just be I don't want to fuck you. It's okay.
Here are my boundaries. That seems like a win-win. That's a nice
curious about my sexuality, and maybe I would vibe with one of them, and it'd be fine. It's fine. It's all good.
Making it a win-win.
Making it a win-win.
Love that about you.
I've learned that about myself over the past couple of years that I can always see the bright side. I can always find a silver lining, and which is probably really annoying to some people sometimes because I'm it's fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Great.
I never really noticed that about myself until people started pointing it out, and I'm oh, I really am an eternal optimist. It's not a bad thing.
Appreciate that about you. That's why we're homies.
It's so good.
So, Molly, we're at the almost last part of this show, but it's the quote of the day. And the quote of the day today is, magical things start to happen when you value speaking your truth more than how you think people might react to it.
Yes.
Thoughts, comments?
Yeah, magical things did start to happen when I valued this could not be more true. It's so interesting when you look at energetically speaking your truth, that is your throat chakra, right? So I used to constantly have tightness in my throat and my chest. And when I started being more honest about how I felt, opened up, like no more tightness. Like it's so interesting that like I was holding on to so much tension there because I wasn't speaking my truth, both verbally and like just energetically, right? So this is the real deal.
It's absolutely the real deal. I've noticed the same thing, like even in the last couple of weeks, as I've been really feeling like I've been finding my voice in terms of the content that I've been putting out. And that is one thing I really need to acknowledge you for. And one thing that I really appreciate about you is like when I see your stuff on social, it's just very much so you, and it's very authentic, and it's like very, it's just, and it's always super valuable. So I appreciate you, being an example for that out in the world. And it's really fun, like especially on LinkedIn, which is so interesting because for me that's been like a big like, oh, I gotta be careful about what I put on LinkedIn because people are just gonna disagree with me. And now I'm like, that's the whole point. The whole point is to put stuff that people disagree with, because otherwise no one does anything and no one says anything to your content. So it's like, what are you even doing?
Yeah, that polarity. I mean, one of my first business coaches taught me like polarity is important. Like it's going to attract the people that are like, I agree with that. And it's going to, the people that don't agree with it are going to move on. And if they give you crap, then like, fine, whatever. Like, I think one of her things was like, when you get your first troll, like that's when you're doing it right.
Yeah, you're on the right path.
You're on the right path. Like if you start getting trolls, that means you're like saying impactful things, and it's like stirring people up in a way. Because for every troll, like there's a million more people that it like really hit home with. So yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Before we go to parting words, I just have to bring this up. So you shared this piece earlier around you calling your mom, and she actually says that didn't happen. And I'm just curious what you have to say for yourself about that.
Oh, wait, I did call. Well, she called first. Maybe that's what but I was going to call you first, and then you called. No, you texted me. I did call you.
It's a lot of competing stories going on. I don't really know who to believe.
This is amazing.
Here,
oh my God. I love that feature. Hey, Mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love that.
Well, Molly, we're at the end of our show, and it's time for parting words. So any parting words of wisdom, gems to leave us with?
I think just in this quarantine time, just like allow yourself to do whatever you're doing. If you're like crushing it and being super productive, cool. If you are just surviving, cool. Like don't beat yourself up for whatever's happening right now, or really ever, but especially right now. We're just like going through such like a collective, heavy, traumatic time that it's okay. Whatever's happening is okay. If you're thriving, it's okay. If you're just surviving, it's okay. Like, but just keep going and just be kind to yourself.
I love that. Always be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Well, Molly, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks
Appreciate the heck out of you. And everyone watching, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you. Thanks, Miss Seifert. And I will see you all on Friday.
Bye.